Hello, my name is Kennedy Osi, an energy engineer at Innovators. Today I'm going to take you through installation of Power Energy Logger, in short PEL. So Power Energy Logger is used to record data, electrical data, that is energy consumption, power, demand, voltage, currents, phase imbalances and things like that. So this is a distribution board in one of the facilities. As you can see, it is all closed because of safety factor. So before we do any installation, we have to survey the board and see where is the best place to do the logging. So this is our PEL. As you can see, it is a very simple tool. It is magnetic. It can hang on any metallic surface. With the PEL, it comes with its accessories. So these are CTs, in other terms current transformers. They sense the currents from the board or from the lines into a machine, then it records. To complete that pair, we must have also voltages. They measure our voltages, they transfer it from the board or from the faces into our equipment for recording. We also have some accessories, the crocodiles, because as we'll see later on, inside the boards we have to clip these cables, or for the cables to transfer data from the live faces, they must be clipped. So we'll use this for clipping. We'll demonstrate that later. Then we also have an adapter that is used to safely work between the live and heavy or high voltage into equipment. Remember, this is just a small piece of equipment. It cannot accept too much voltages. So if I connect it direct, then it means it can blow up our equipment. But with this adapter, it will be able to reduce the voltage that will best be accepted by our PEL, so that it cannot blow out. So we'll start, but before we start, we need to see how the board is. So I'll just open it slowly. So this is my board, and as you can see here, we have the red, yellow and the blue phase. In other words, phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3. I'll just try to open the bottom side of the board so that I can assess it, if it will be possible for me to install my PEL at that point. So that is the bottom part of the board. Again, I can see it has quite enough space, but my challenge will be where to clip my clips. Remember, we said these clips are clipped on the live faces for them to transfer the voltage data into equipment. Try to avoid going to the bus as much as possible, because that is where the voltage is coming from directly. So if possible, if you can avoid, or if you can be able to get another source, you can be able to clip your clips, then you can do it there. So my bus bars are at this point here, and you can see it is so much protected. It has double protection. So I'll just do it slowly and carefully because we are working on a live board. So I just do it slowly. Just unscrew that. Because they are live. So looking at this, we have 3 faces and a neutral line. So the front one, it is the red face or face 1. The middle one is yellow face or face 2. The third one inside is face 3 or the blue face. Then at the far end, it's the neutral line. With this, it is now possible for me, and the spacing where I can clip my crocodile clips, it is more accessible. So I think I'll just work on the bus. But remember, we said if it is possible to avoid the bus, it is advisable to work at any other point aside from the bus. So now it comes a time when we need to install our bell, and as we said, all these accessories, they constitute to the complete functioning of our bell. So this is our adapter. It is used to power our bell. So it has these spots on top, the red face, yellow face, blue face, and the neutral line. So it will just get in comfortably. Then I plug in this to transfer power from this adapter to the bell. So the next step, then next we now plug in our CTs. Plug in our CTs. The CTs again, they have their ports. So you just plug in for each line. This is line 2 or the yellow line. Then finally getting the blue line. So this is our blue line. Okay. So now we are done with fixing in the cables. Now the next step, which is now very critical, and you have to be very careful now because you are now attaching your cables to the live board. And remember, you are working on a 3-phase 415 voltage. So moving to the live board, you have to be very careful. Safety is the first thing we look at when working on a live board. So to be more safe, we start with the neutral line. We start by fixing the neutral line. As we showed you earlier, our bell has four lines. We have the red face, yellow face, then blue face. Then at the far right we have the neutral line. So we start with the neutral line first. So I'll just follow that. The best way to identify the lines is by following it from the pearl. Just confirm if it is a neutral line. Yeah, this is my neutral line. So I put inside my clip. There is a pot there, just push it inside, then carefully just plug it in on a neutral line there. Then I make sure it is stable. Yeah, that is okay. Then I can realize if I start with the red line, I might have a challenge on space inside, so I will go with the one that is at the next after the neutral line because of the space, so that I have enough space with the other cables. So I just make sure I picked the line that is at the after the neutral line, which is our blue phase or phase 3. So that one it goes into a crocodile clip. Then carefully I just put it there. So remember, with these gloves you can be able to handle voltage of up to 18 kV. So that's why I'm not worried. I'm sure I'm working at 415 volts. So with this I'm more safe. So I go to the middle phase or second phase or the yellow phase. I plug it in. Okay, now our last cable, which is now our first phase, something that is very important to note. You have plugged in all the neutral, phase 3 and phase 2, but now with line 1 or phase 1, something to note, you'll note that once I plug in there, you notice there are some sparks, meaning that now our power energy log has been powered on. So our pearl identifies the neutral line and the first line or the first phase. Once the two are in, then it means our pearl is on, and you can see it can now show some light on the battery, and the power button here, it has now been lit. If I remove it, then you'll realize there is no power on the battery and the power button has gone off. So that is something important to note. So if I have the neutral line and line 1 or phase 1, then it means my pearl is on. So I've plugged in all my voltages, but something else I can realize, because we don't leave this place open because of the safety. So I can see that these clips, they cannot sit the way they are sitting because it will not be able to close at this point. So I look for a better place to plug in these other phases. So I just transfer this, just transfer it to a point where we can be able to close. So I just place them inside. I place it inside there. So these are some of the decisions you make while you are on site. So with this now, I can be able to close this space here. So next, I'll plug in, or I'll wrap my CTs around the cables. Again, the only way we can be sure with the lines, again, you follow it from the equipment. So this is my red phase, or line 1. So I just follow it, and you can realize that on the CTs we have direction. There's an arrow, which is the direction of the current you are referring to. You can either refer it from the source, or you can refer it towards the load. So I have my breaker here, and looking at this distribution board, I can see we have several lines or several cables that have been tapped from this distribution board, and I have a cable from underground coming on this distribution board. So clearly then it implies that current is moving from this side, or from this direction, coming into this distribution board, then it comes into a breaker, then into a bus bar, then it starts redistribution to various load. So it implies that the direction of the load is going up, because the loads are at this point, the breaker is at this point, and the source of my power is coming from this bottom side. So then it means if I want to wrap my CTs, I have to point my direction of current in the upward direction, because my loads are on the top side of this breaker. So this is my red phase. I have wrapped it at that point on the red phase. Again, I do the same on the yellow phase, on line 2. Again, direction, I must make sure it is pointing in the right direction, so I just point it moving upward, as you can see the arrow. Then finally, the blue phase. Okay. So now I have all my accessories and the pail into the board, ready to record. The last and final stage is now configuring our pail and programming it so that it can start recording data. So here we'll require a laptop installed with the software that can read our pail, then a configuration cable. But sometimes this software, you can access it and you can configure your pail using Bluetooth by the use of either a laptop or a tablet or even your smartphone. But for us, we'll do it using the cable. The cable goes in here. You can see the data cable. It will go in here, in this port here. Then it is connected to a laptop. This other port is where we store our SD card, the macro card. It goes in there. So if I remove it, the pail will sense there is no SD card and it will light red. But if I plug it in, it will sense it and light green. So it is okay. Then this other port is for Ethernet cable. You can be able to monitor it online if you have internet connections. Our final step is configuring or programming our PEL to start recording the data, and we'll need a laptop. I have a laptop with me installed with the PEL software, and configuring cable. So I'll connect the laptop side, and also I connect on the PEL side. Then we'll open the PEL software here. So I'll wait for it to open. So this is a PEL window. Once you open the software, it will bring you to this. So for me to see this PEL, first I'll check if it is on any of my network. If it is not there, I'll have to remove all of this. I just click on it, then there's this X mark. I remove for it not to interfere with my connection. So once I've removed everything on my network, then I'll come on this button here. I press it for me to add. So it gives you options on which platform do you want to connect. It has USB through USB cable connection. It has Bluetooth, as we said before. It also has a Wi-Fi direct connection, and it has point-to-point Ethernet cable, the one we saw earlier again. So for us, we'll use the USB cable, the one we are using. Then just go to next. So once it has been detected, it will automatically give you the PEL serial number, which is that one. Then you just go next, then you finish the pairing. So once it is paired, you go to real time, because it is recording, or it is viewing data in real time, as in how the data is currently. So as you can see, it is showing some readings here. We have the V1 to neutral, V2 to neutral, V3 to neutral. It has voltage phase 1, 2, 3. It has voltages line to line. It has currents. It has the total harmonic distortions. It has the voltage. It has also the current total harmonic distortions. It has the the voltage to neutral differences or angles. So those are our RMS values, in other words. We can also go to power. It gives us the power. It gives us the active, the reactive, and the apparent power. But the most interesting part is here. So for us to know if our configuration is okay or our connection is okay, this diagram here guides us. So all the line 1 and phase 1 parameters have to be on this, pointing in that direction in black. Phase 2 is supposed to be pointing in the red direction. Then finally phase 3 is supposed to be pointing in the number 3 direction. So looking at this, you can see we have the voltage and currents in the correct position as per the guide on this circle here. Same to voltage 3 and current 3. But now for current 2, we see the current is in the correct position. The voltage is not, it's very small. So that implies either the cable might be faulty, the crocodile clip might be faulty, or it might be not tight. So we'll need to check that before we go any step further. Because if you have connected everything okay, then you must have a tick on each of these 3 parameters. So for current, everything is okay. Voltage, we are having a problem, and that is why the power rotation is not okay. Because for us to have power, the current and voltage must be there. So that means I'll have to check the voltage on the second phase. I'm suspecting the problem might be it has not clipped tightly. So I'll just check it. Yeah, now everything is okay. So that means we are good. We're okay. So now we have everything okay. Now we are good to start recording. But some current here, and here, we can see they're not equal. So our judgment will be the current here has a higher magnitude as compared to line 1 and line 2. So that already shows we have imbalance on line 2. So that is some of the data the PEL will be collecting, and we'll have further analysis once it has recorded for a period of time. So I'll just record it. So under the recording window, once you click on that, it will bring you to this window here, where you'll have to do your own labeling as you want. So we are going to call this, because we want to record the consumption for the flats, so I'll call it flats. Location, vectors. Communication, how do you want it to communicate? I don't want to communicate using Bluetooth as per now, so I just keep that. Measurement, we have various measurements here as to how you want, how is your current or circuit connected. We have a single phase or one phase, 2 wires. We are not using that because we are using 3 phases and a neutral line. So we are going to pick 3 phase 4 wires, 3 phase 4 wires, Y connection. So this is how the connection is. Then the current sensors. For a flat, we don't expect it to go past 400 amperes. So our current sensors can go up to maximum of 10,000 amperes, but for a matter of accuracy, we'll pick the lowest as possible. So looking at 100 amps and 400 amps, I'll pick 400 because I'm just suspecting that the currents might at some point maybe go above 400. Pick is 400. Then under recording, I just again change the name, flats. Then I'll click here, record now. Then I pick for how long do I want to record my data. So let me record for 1 week, but from this list you can see you can record between 8 hours all the way to 1 month, but I'll just pick 1 week because I don't want too much data. Then I click OK. So once I click OK, it will start configuring, but I'll have to wait for it to pick the signal and start recording. So I just wait for this to complete. A little bit more patient. can see it is now starting recording, so you just wait until it, So once that is done, I come and confirm on my bell. If I want to know it is recording, it will blink twice in successive mode. As you can see, it is blinking twice, so that means it is now recording. So with that, I can now remove my cable because now I'm sure it is recording. Then we don't want to leave our bell hanging outside, so we just put it inside. So I'll place it inside here, I'll place it inside there. Then these wires, I'll place them safely inside here. You leave site when the board, electricity board or the distribution board is closed for safety reason, because you can see this is a live board. So we'll just do that, we'll close that. That will be our last step. Then we leave, and having left our bell successfully recording for the period we have set. Thank you. That has been our lesson on bell installation.